Hey everyone, this is Dr. Medicine RX, and in today's video we'll be discussing about xeroderma pigmentosum. This is a disorder that is characterized by the occurrence of photosensitivity, oculocutaneous pigmentation and early onset neoplasia, and it usually results from abnormal DNA repair. Coming to etiopathogenesis and the genetics involved, this has an autosomal recessive pattern of inheritance with usual presence of history of parental consanguinity. And the genes that are responsible for this disease are those that are involved in the nucleotide excision repair pathway. As a result of defect in these genes, there is lack of repair of UVB exposed cells, leading to various manifestations. There are 7 subtypes of xeroderma pigmentosum, XPA to G and XPV. Of these, XPC, that is xeroderma pigmentosum type C, is most common worldwide. Coming to clinical features, so this is a multi-system disorder involving skin, eyes and the nervous system primarily. So coming to the cutaneous features, that are the skin manifestations. So these appear early of all the manifestations, and they are extreme by about first month of life. And there is persistent photosensitivity, which is a cardinal feature, and this photosensitivity is seen even on minimal sun exposure, even on cloudy days. So at birth, these infants are usually normal, but by 6 months to 3 years, they develop persistent erythema, acute sunburn, xerosis, diffuse freckling of face and other parts of the body as well. So these freckles are usually pinpoint or can be up to 1 centimeter in size, and they progress to involve the conjunctiva, lips and covered body parts as well. Not only the sun exposed areas but also the covered body parts. So these freckles with atrophic hypopigmented macules, they give a mottled appearance, and they can also be presence of telangiectasias, and flat or warty seborrheic keratosis can also be seen. Along with these, pre-malignant lesions such as keratoacanthoma and actinic keratosis can also occur in these cases. Coming to cutaneous malignancies, the risk for acquiring non-melanoma skin cancers is increased by up to 10,000 times, as well as for melanoma cancers it is increased in up to 2,000 times. And these malignancies, they can even cause mutilation of facial features. Along with this, we can also see involvement of mucosae such as the buccal mucosa as well as the tongue in the form of telangiectasias and leukoplakias. And on sudden sun exposure, these individuals, they develop vesiculation, ulceration, crusting and atrophic scarring. Coming to ocular manifestations, so these are seen in about 80% of the patients, and photophobia is something that is very constant in these people. We can also see freckle-like macules over bulbar conjunctiva, and certain other features include scarring of the eyelids, corneal opacities and malignant lesions such as keratoacanthoma, epithelium of eyelids. Other than these, some other manifestations can also include xerosis of the conjunctiva and recurrent conjunctivitis, or on acute exposure we can see symblepharon and ectropion developing. They can also be vascular pterygium. Some of these are later manifestations, but these are the most important ones. Coming to neurological manifestations, so mental retardation, decreased or absent reflexes, spasticity, ataxia and sensory neural deafness can also be. And CNS tumors, these include medulloblastoma, astrocytoma and glioblastoma, have an increased risk in these patients. Other organal malignancies such as those of the breast, the testes, the pancreas and uterus can also occur. Then metabolic and biochemical abnormalities such as hypoglycemia and amino aciduria can occur, and there is increased susceptibility to infections. Usually these patients, they have a risk for early mortality because of metastatic malignancies and infections, recurrent infections and neurological manifestations as well. Coming to diagnosis, so demonstration of DNA repair defect is confirmatory, and unscheduled DNA synthesis assay following UV irradiation is a standard diagnostic method. And prenatal diagnosis can also be done to detect the DNA repair defect using the amniotic fluid cells, that is by amniocentesis. And histopathological examination of skin can be done in advanced cases, and it usually shows heavily laden with pigments and basophilic degeneration of dermal collagen and certain features of solar elastosis and increased vascularity. Coming to treatment, strict photoprotection from an early age is the mainstay treatment. That is, prevention is better than cure, and it can be done in the form of physical sunscreens, applying sunscreen containing lip balms and UV blocking garments, and wearing hats. And lifestyle and work modifications in order to avoid exposure to sunlight is necessary. And regular medical checkups in order to detect any pre-malignant and malignant lesions of the skin as well as other organs is also very important. Avoiding environmental carcinogens and smoking are some of the other measures. So for skin pre-malignant and malignant lesions, we can go for topical 5-fluorouracil cryotherapy, dermabrasion, excision of the lesions, intralesional interferon alpha, and skin grafting. The occurrence of malignant lesions is also reduced. The risk is also reduced by taking oral isotretinoin. Since these patients are not supposed to go under sunlight, they often have vitamin D deficiency. Therefore, vitamin D supplementation is also very necessary. So this is a picture of a case of xeroderma pigmentosum in an elderly female. We can see the freckles, we can see the mottled pigmentation on her, and these freckles, they also involved covered areas of the body, and there was also some neurological defect in her as well. Thank you. Subscribe for more.